Greetings everyone, welcome to my sketchbook. Something I picked up last night were these, which are acrylic paint markers. They're kind of cool shaped, honestly enough. I think they're kind of neat. I think I just want to kind of play around with it, see if there's something kind of neat that I can come up with. It's an interesting case. Now, I'm not really sure. I did peel off the label. Yeah, I'm not sure what this retaining sort of thing is supposed to do here. Anyway, I'm going to, do some random things with it because I want to see what all this fun stuff could be about. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with drawing like a bird-like creature. Because, I mean, the last few videos I was drawing like, Pokemon type things. But I'm not going to draw Pokemon. I'm just going to figure out something. So, I'm going to zoom in on this. Maybe see if it'll lock down enough. I'm going to start off with drawing a circle. Ooh, how exciting is that? I'm going to draw around that circle next. I'm not going anywhere in particular with this. I'm just going to make up kind of like a bird. Be kind of based on a crane, maybe. I want to see what happens with this type of marker. There's even like white here as well. I'm just going to throw a bunch of colors at this. Ooh, that one's tough to open. Some vibrant colors. And they sort of fill in pretty quick too, which is nice. Saturation wise. I'm just going to grab a bunch of colors. So, see what purple does. Sort of like leaves a, maybe it's the paper I'm using in my sketchbook, but it seems to have some sort of like little flecks of paint. Maybe they brush off after it dries. What would be the next sort of, just sort of tossing as much kind of color at this as I feel like. Move this up just a little bit. Now we got this sort of pink. Oh, and they do kind of overlap nice too. Bet you it's a lot better after it kind of dries a little bit. I mean, I've used a lot of acrylic paints, so it would kind of make sense. It's kind of dry. Oh, and that it's not perfectly dry yet, so it does smudge. But I haven't used these before, so take a little bit of getting used to. Let's go out one. Okay. I don't think well, I did use something else. I think it would have been better to layer in some of the other colors first. But I don't mind this so much. Let's go out even further. Going back to yellow over here. There's that fun purple. It's fun to test out new things, though. Oh, wow, that green. It's not like I did that on purpose. It's just really, really strange that it locks in so angrily. Wow. There's another green here. Let's see what this was like. Jumping. Maybe green is super aggressive. Let's see what this other blue looks like. Oh, well. I do see some potential use for this type of marker. Now, because it's acrylic, though, after it sets, you could probably use this on like clothing and, you know, be able to wash it without it smearing and smudging and all that kind of stuff. Let's see. There's a sort of a brown here as well. Lots of great vibrant color. Now there is white. I think this potentially has some pretty good uses. So I could probably use this for like highlighting other things. That cover's pretty good. Huh. Yeah, I don't mind that so much. I did use every color. I didn't use black as much, though. Only on the pupil of the bird's eye. Interesting. think, you know, the trick with this, you know, lots of this kind of stuff is just kind of getting used to them. Some part of that reminds me of like Kellogg's Corn Flakes. Okay. So about 10 minutes of playing around with that. I don't mind that so much. I'm going to see if I can kind of change a couple of things. Although I did smudge that earlier. I'm not worried about that. Let's see if we can add a little bit more detail with my desk fountain pen. Let's zoom back in on this. So hopefully that should be dry enough. Although, whatever is going on with the paint, maybe it's just because it was new and sitting for a while. It might have had some dry little flecks in it. That's possible. I think most of the things that you can kind of do with new markers is figure out where you can use them for other stuff anyway. So I do a lot in like just ink, black and white ink. But it's fun to throw color at things once in a while anyway. I think these would be kind of fun to use on, let's say, if I got like a plain pair of Chuck Taylors. But you could do some pretty neat things with acrylic marker. It's just, I think my main problem with these is that there's only, well, it's not really a problem, but there's only 12. And I don't know how well they mix. Or maybe there's another series of them that I could get that would be kind of like other colors. You know, why did they select this group? It's a very interesting sort of thing. I know as a kid, one of my favorite colors, or well, anti-color, or whatever you want to call it. Anyway, I always wanted to have the black markers because I was always kind of wanting to outline things. So if I drew a picture of the sun, for example, there would be, I'd outline it. I mean, you catch on after a while that you don't have to outline everything. I mean, it's okay to just have a yellow sun. But I've always liked ink. So right now I'm just adding in sort of like fun little details. Even though I went with very solid colors, this adds sort of like texture. You can kind of see where feathers might be on this animal that doesn't really exist. it could have existed. When you draw from memory anyway, and even when you're making something up, in your brain you're using something as a reference. You know, sort of like when I first looked at that, I'm like, oh, I think that's sort of like that. I think his name was Cornelius the Rooster with the breakfast cereal. Cornelius. That is funny. That's a name I don't think I've said out loud in quite some time. What would be the last Cornelius? I don't know. Cornelius. Okay. Now I'm just making my way down the neck. As I feather the hair, or the feathers, I should say. What are the little fibrous parts of a feather called? Why did I say hair naturally? That doesn't really make sense. So if I were to, let me go out of this for a moment. If I were to have thought about this a little bit more, so I probably would have started with the red down here and then put this sort of pink fuchsia over the top of that, and then that. But I kind of started with the eye and then made my way back down through this way, because it would have been nicer to have this purple, although, you know, the markers are just right over there. It would have been nice to have that layer over the top of each section. You know what, I could just do that now. Who is stopping me? Who's telling me not to? Nobody's telling me not to. This is what I mean. Just a little bit. It's going to take a moment for that to dry, though. And you may have heard me say this in other videos if you've been hanging out with me. Most creatures that are born of an egg or hatched from an egg, I like to incorporate that egg shape somewhere. So in the body of this creature, I have a little bit of an egg shape, and that could be used in the head as well. But that's just me. That's how I like to draw creatures like that. So dinosaurs, anything that I picture in my mind, you know, popping out of an egg. But try to put an egg shape in there somewhere. It's kind of a weird and fun thing for me to do. And it is not necessary to always outline things in black. I just like to add detail with black for some reason. Habit, I suppose. Oh, let's go down here to the feet. Right now they're looking kind of strange. See if we can kind of fix up some of that. It won't be perfect. I think I saw an advertisement for like a new Zootopia movie. I never saw the first one. Although I do like to be entertained. So whether or not I see this one, I don't know. Letting that one in the back show up a little bit differently here. Let's see. Kind of want the center claw to be the most prominent one. And then this one is the background one. In my mind, that's all. So that's outrageous. All right. Well, I don't think I need to go too much further with this. I think maybe in the next video I should do some sort of like underwater thing with these markers just to see what that looks like. Because I bet you it can do some neat coral reef looking stuff. I don't know what I just did there. That was strange. Just adding some unnecessary detail, which is fun and necessary for a bird that doesn't exist. I'm going to put a little bit more here and close in that eye just a little bit more. I don't mind that. That's kind of fun. All right, folks. Well, I think that should be enough for now. I would probably work on the wings a little bit more. But yeah, like I said, I think these markers are actually pretty fun for what they are. So I'm glad I bought them. Not very expensive. Anyway, I hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks for hanging out. And yeah, come back again. Ciao for now.